Hello there and welcome back to Painting with Martin. We're back with another Star Wars Battle of Hoth painting guide, and this is a game published by Days of Wonder. And if you recognize this game, this is kind of like Memoir 44 but in a Star Wars setting. So let's begin what I'm going to show you today. So I'm going to put this one aside, even though it says scenario book. It's kind of like the same cover on the main cover of the game box. I'm going to use this one as inspiration for when I paint the game. So putting this one aside, and that's what I'm going to show you today is one of the most iconic features in Star Wars history, and it's the AT-AT Walker, which I've primed here using Panzer Grey from Vallejo. And you can see the kind of like base color here. It's very grey. It looks quite nice, to be honest, if I may say so, on its own. But we're going to take it up and moving it into a slightly lighter shade. And by doing so, first of all, I'm going to put it on my trusty red grass panel. It's not really going to fit that great because I tried it before and it didn't really. I think it's the old putty here that is not really that fitting very well. But I'm going to try to put it on as much as I could and use it, and I may have to stabilize it. It might come off after a while as well. So I'm putting it on like this. I can turn it around like this, as you can see, and it's quite nice. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take a very basic standard flat brush. It's very important to use a flat brush for this one. This is a hobby brush I picked up in it's a dollar store or whatever you want to call it. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some Celestra Grey from Citadel on it as a base color. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply it neat. And I use this technique from a very famous miniature painter called Celestra, who actually painted the AT-ST from Star Wars Imperial Assault using this method. So I'm going to copy this method and apply it to the AT-AT at, of course, at a much smaller scale. So I'm going to hold my miniature like this, and the way it works is that I'm going to apply it with the flat of the brush in a streaking motion such as like this. And the aim of the game is to cover as much, of course, the miniature as possible, without refilling it with paint. And if you see here, there might be, I can see here, it's a little bit unstable and it's hard to actually balance it here as well. I'm going to do my best and cover all the miniature in this paint. And I don't refill my brush at all right now. I just want to get into and paint all the parts here if possible. It's a little bit unstable, as you can see. I may have to work on another method of putting this one on the stand. Now I'm refilling and I'm painting it on the other side here, and already you can see that it's starting to look much better. Yeah, using its one motion like this. And you may have to switch to a smaller brush to reach under all of the gaps and crevices as well. Now I'm moving it like this. Hopefully you can see the video. And at the same time, I want to say a big thank you to all of you who have subscribed to my channel so far. So why don't you go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on any further videos that I will paint. This is going to be a series of painting for Star Wars Battle of Hoth. If you really like this game, the aim of the game is to make sure that you can actually paint it without not too much effort, and it will look great on the table, so to say. You may need something like 2 to 3, or actually at least 2 coats on this one. I'm going to show you at least 1 coat here to show you just what it looks like. And I'm not painting the kind of like feet of this walker like underneath, but I'm of course painting it under or like kind of like the head here underneath as well. And of course when it comes to the head, that's quite important to do it using this full length of the brush as much as possible. Hopefully this one is not going to fall down. It's going to be embarrassing. And if you don't cover everything, it's perfectly fine, because you can actually let the Panzer Grey work its magic for you, and use it as kind of shadows as well in between. But do try to reach all of it behind all of the legs. And now, of course, coming up to the back of the miniature, you can already see that it's looking quite okay. And using it such. The side of the head here as well, the control of where the pilot's sitting as well. It's already looking fairly okay. So I'm going to turn around, make sure that I don't miss anything part of the legs here. I'm holding on to the miniature, which is probably not such a great idea, but for lack of better options, yeah, this is what it looks like. Make sure it is fully dry until you go to the next stage, which I'm going to show you just in a second. And this is how it is. So I'm going to leave this one aside, and this is what it looks like when it's fully dried. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take another flat brush. I'm going to close the paint pot, making sure, and we are going to the next stage, and we are going to use a dry brush for this one. The dry brush here, I'm going to use Longbeard Grey from Citadel. This is a dry brushing colour, so that means if you hold it up like this, it's not going to fall out. It's a very dense colour. So I'm going to put it in here, really making sure that all the colour goes into the brush, wiping off a little bit of the excess, closing the pot, and then wiping most of the paint off on a piece of kitchen towel. And this is a great way of adding some definitions. And what I want to do is, like, I want to use the flash of the brush and simply wipe it against the edges here, all the edges of the miniature, including the legs, the front, and you can also do a little bit of a heavy dry brush on top of here. This is where the main highlight is going to go, and that means I'm doing it as such. I can do it also on the parts of the legs here as well, around on the feet, whatever you want to call it, as such. Very, very easy, and it gives us some extra definition before our wash. And when it comes to the wash, which is going to be fairly easy, we're going to put it down like this, and we're going to clean our paint pot with this one, and we're going to apply the wash neat using the same brush, flat brush, as before. But what we need here for the wash here is that we need an old piece of sock, underwear, of course clean, and so we can apply some weathering effects using the wash directly. So in this case, we are going to use Nuln oil, which is, we can use neat, straight from Citadel, Nuln oil from Citadel, giving it a good shake off camera, make sure all those pigments are mixing, and then we are going to apply it straight away. Now, important when you apply the wash here, and I'll show you why we want this cloth here. You apply it upwards as such, like this, then downwards like this, making sure that it gets all into all these nooks and crannies. But before it has time to dry, I'll do it as well over here, making sure it's all nice. Of course, you should leave the Longbeard Grey to fully dry as well, of course. That goes without saying. Hopefully that was clear enough. And of course the underside here as well. I'm holding it down here by the legs. If you have a holder or something like that, you can definitely use that. And making sure that you get it underneath the miniature as well, the top as well, making sure you apply it quite liberally here, and across the entire miniature. Head, control panel underneath it as well, the Mark II heavy lasers, as well as on the side here you also have some blaster cannons. So, and I'm going to show you next what to do with the table cloth, or whatever you want to call it. Now, when everything has been applied, now what you do here is you take the tablecloth and you're using it, kind of like wiping it off, so you get kind of like rain streaks on this one. Not only does it speed up the drying process, but it also wipes off all the excess wash on the miniature, to make sure that it's actually filled into the gaps of the miniature, but doesn't stay on the surface. and it makes it look much nicer already. Going here, back here on towards the back and the legs, and also the top here. Now, as you can see here, it's already looking quite okay. I'm going to leave it outside here to dry for a second, and you should leave it fully to dry. But fortunately for you guys, I have already painted the miniatures before like this. So this is what it looks like when it's all dried, and it looks quite nice, if I may say so. And now it's coming down to the highlights, and for the highlights, we're not going to touch the rest of the miniature here. We already applied some of the highlights with the Longbeard grey before, so you're not going to touch anything else. You can paint the heavy laces with some grey if you want them to stand out, but as far as I've seen it from the card art, as well as also from pictures online from the movies, these ones were not painted in grey or metal or anything like that. They're left in like they were in this grey colour. So, but what I'm going to do next is that in the movies you see this kind of, I'm going to bring back the rule book here, or scenario book. They actually have these kind of little red visor up here. So I'm going to try to actually mimic that red visor by applying a little bit of, you can apply a contrast paint if you want to. In this case, you can use Bale Red, but you can also use any kind of red that you feel would work as well. So in this case, Mephiston red would be quite fine. So I'm using some Mephiston red here, and it's very important here that you use a very fine tip brush. What I've done also, you can use this as well, is to apply a little bit of white here as well to make sure the red here is going to be quite visible. I'm going to take off my glasses here because I'm at a certain age where I don't really see with glasses at a short distance, so hopefully this will be fine. And if you do make mistakes, just you can cover it over here with a little bit of white. So not the best here, but I will touch up my mistake in a bit. It looks a little bit better than at least than without it. So I like my miniatures battle scarred and battle damaged and a lot of weathering on them. So if you don't, you can simply say you're done. You can put them on the battlefield and you're happy with this miniature. Make sure that you coat them in a matte varnish so they can be touched over and over again. And I have a video for that on the channel as well if you're unsure what to do. So but if you really want to learn about some weathering effects, stay tuned for the next minute. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to apply some Typhus Corrosion, which is a very grimy technical paint, giving it a good shake, and I'm going to use it using a fairly large brush. If you want to, you can use a smaller one as well, and using it to apply it on the underside here, and this one gives it a very grimy effect here. You can use it by nudging it away with your hands here, and you can use it around the joints here as well, making sure that it simulates rust and built up dirt in the joints here. Around the joints here would be quite nice that you can use it, and make sure that you nudge it away with a little bit of your fingers. And you can also here, you can put it down over here and simulate like some streaking effects. You can put it down over here in between, and then you can nudge it around to make sure that it's like dirty and worn, where you think that rust and grime will have accumulated over the years. But of course, if you want factory models like brand new, you don't have to do anything, and you can simply skip this step and you can put it on the battlefield straight away. Now I like this one. It's one of my favorite colors when it comes to like dirt and weathering effects. And if you also want to apply battle damage, I have a video for that specifically, and you can check it out. It's going to be in the end screen as well, if you want to apply the battle damage on this miniature as well. So otherwise, here on the back here so if you don't know what 8080 stands for, I can inform you that it stands for All-Terrain Armored Transport. This is something that I learned today. As a big Star Wars fan, I appreciate learning something new every day. And something like this, a little bit on the top as well. I like quite a bit of weathering, something like this. This is a fully painted AT-80 from Star Wars Battle of Hoth, published by Days of Wonder. And if you like these kind of videos, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next Battle of Hoth Star Wars video, or another video where I show you how to paint. Thank you very much for watching, and have a fantastic day.